welcome to the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, here at the Big Condo Studios. And, I always do this cold opening thing, right? Everybody's different. But so, in this particular case, we have somebody who actually liked being here before and came back, even though I've been told I misspelled the company name. I don't understand. I don't know how it is. Maybe it's because it's, one of those names. But I would like to welcome Louise Harlan Davies from Resilient UK. I said it right, at least.
Resilient Northwest CIC. Come on, Chase.
I'm not going to restart over just because she caught me in a little thing like that. Resilient Northwest.
Yay.
Yeah, okay, cool. I won't misspell that. But you also are not alone. You brought along a friend with you, Harry Williams, who is also a director at the company now.
That's correct, yep.
And we'll get into your past and everything, Harry, because, we don't want people to leave right away when they find out you are an ex-cop. So, but either way you look at it is, Resilient UK. Now, you've been here before and I couldn't believe it, but you said you've been here over a year ago when we were in our cold studios.
Yeah, it was freezing, and I've brought an extra jumper today, and it is roasting.
Yeah, she's on fire, people. But what I thought was really interesting when I heard you were coming back is that you were at the kind of like at the beginning stages of Resilient because you're working out of your kitchen.
Yep.
And everything, but you also had gotten one of those dream calls or dream emails that we all wish for when we have a new company, that you had just received funding. So just give us a little catch up as to where you were when you first came through.
Absolutely. I just want to say thanks again for having us back. I had a really good time. Never done a podcast before, so I feel like a dab hand now. You caught me just at the very beginning of my journey. We'd set up Resilient in the April of that year, and then gradually we'd put things in place. But yeah, you're right. We got the Weekender, the Wirral Youth Weekender Fund, through the council and Ed Central, and we ran a programme of activities over 10 months in Hoylake and West Kirby in Wirral. And it was amazing. So Harry, I asked him really nicely, would he come and help support the project? So between us, Harry and I, we came up with like a range of activities.
All the way back then?
Yeah. So we were literally at the start of the journey. We didn't know how it was going to play out. And we had over 350 young people join us on that journey for 10 months, which was amazing.
Yeah. But also too is the fact that, when you said Harry got involved, tell us a little bit about...
Sorry, I think
somebody's phone going?
I think that's my
phone. Pause.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so we'd got the call that we got the Wirral Youth Weekender funding. So we did that for Hoylake and West Kirby. And we put on loads of activities. And Harry agreed to come along and help me deliver all that. So we had over 350 young people come along to do a mixture of DJ mixing, music mixing, arts and crafts, forest school, beachcombing. We did loads, didn't we?
Oil painting session from a proper, real, fantastic artist.
Yeah, we had a masterclass in oil painting.
Wow.
So we went, all round with all different artists delivering that. It was brilliant.
Well, I guess this is a way of bringing Harry into the conversation because can you tell us, like, at that point in time, Resilience working out of Louise's house and everything, she got this big event going on. How did you get involved? Because I know you're an ex-police officer, as you say, but were you local or, were you inspired? How did you get involved?
Well, I was working in Liskeard as part of the Love Liskeard team. That was a council initiative. Basically, we're there to support the town itself, support the retailers, look at maybe adorning the place with flowers, getting sponsorship, which we did. We got McDonald's to sponsor one huge plant pot, and then a few of the shops. There were 6 of them altogether. So we were very much on the ground. And then Louise came in. We then organised a Christmas...
was the switch on, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Christmas switch on, which Louise had a massive part in that, and that was really successful. And that's how we met. So Louise's idea of setting up her own CIC came along, and then the funding came along for the Youth Weekender. So we then thought, well, what should we put on? What can we put on? So Louise would organise the location, and then we had the idea of having guest people to come in to show people how to paint. Well, what can we have as another activity at the same time? This is where I came in because of the electronic music. I use a digital audio workstation called Acid Pro, which I'm sure you know about, and there's many, many more. But it's very basic.
Yeah.
So the idea was to set up 5 or 6 laptops as an activity and just show them the basics of how to paint looped music onto a screen. So we had a painter showing them how to paint with oil paintings in one corner, and I was showing them how to paint musical sounds onto a screen. And of course, then we'd save that, of course, you know, they would spend. And the idea was to sort of distract as well, because we knew that a lot of them at a certain age would bring their phones, and of course everyone uses their phones today. And when we did set it up, one of the first people who was using the electronic music didn't touch his phone for 35 minutes. I thought, well, here's a win. This is something we can. This is something we can take to every location as a background activity to the main activity of crafts.
Yeah.
And various other things. So and that's what we did.
And Harry's son's a DJ as well, so we had like him in the corner in some sessions.
Yeah.
Trying mixing skills as well, which is great.
Well, I guess also too it's good that, you know, like having people like in your project that have those skills that you can rely on in that way, because, you know, basically, you know, you expanded that out into your digital skills project, which eventually became Techno Project.
Yeah, so an exciting project that's happening in Wirral at the moment is to try and get those people that are digitally excluded, or to, you know, upskill them, whether that's using a smartphone, whether that's like how to use a laptop. So Resilient are really fortunate. We're one of 16 delivery partners in Wirral as part of a Wirral collective called the Techno Project. So one Wirral CIC actually received the funding, and then we've been helping sort of set up new partners. So we've got the YMCA involved, we've got the Charles Thompson Mission, which has been in Birkenhead for many years. So we're really working with lots of vulnerable people particularly.
What do you mean, like, do you get their clientele or utilize their venue? What do you mean by that?
So, sorry. So yeah, we're part of the Techno Project, which is a huge project over in Wirral. So one Wirral CIC actually received the funding, and they've invited partners to join to come as a collective, and to help those that are vulnerable, disadvantaged, into the world of digital. And there's no getting away from it. Everything is online, isn't it, these days?
Yeah, well, no, exactly. I mean, and stuff like that. But what other kind of, or specifically like digital skills, do you provide? Because I know you were talking about what you were doing with the laptops and with the art project, but I mean, like, is there any other like digital hand skills that you provide?
Yes. So we're really lucky that we love collaboration. We always work in partnership with as many organisations as we can, and we've been invited to work with Strawberry Fields Step to Work programme. So their young people are on placements at the moment. So on a Wednesday in Birkenhead in the Salvation Army building, they come back together, they regroup, and so we're delivering some digital training. So yesterday we had our group of 12 sorting out a flyer on Canva, and most of them had never used the programme before, and you know you can upload Canva for free. And then from last week, one of the young people is actually designing book covers because they've started writing stories.
Oh, wow, nice.
So this is something that a lot of these young people have got, are neurodiverse, maybe have autism, ADHD, and learning disability, and they totally got the brief. So some of the talent, some of the amazing images that they created just in like a half a day was fantastic. And so next week we're going to do some like video production. So Harry is going to help with that, are you? You're going to come next week?
Well, you got a new camera as well for that, don't you?
Yeah. We've done one video, which was the interview of one of the younger ladies we've been looking after, and she was living in supported accommodation. So we've done a short video about what that experience was like, and she came across really well.
Yeah, because I think you thought that because she was sort of shutting that it would be hard interview or be difficult, but she turned it into a chatterbox.
Yeah.
Maybe once you turned the camera on,
Yeah.
that's what you had to do.
She's come through our
Yeah.
program, our Resilient Project, which is
All right.
a different program, but we look at sort of self-care and mindfulness and getting people where they want to be. And
This part of the one that is like the 16 to 25-year-olds.
Yeah, so we work predominantly on that project with 16 to 25-year-olds with additional support needs. And Harry's helped mentor a few young people on that program. And Ashley, a young person that we work with really closely, is now volunteering with us once a week. But she's also agreed to be the poster girl on this video campaign,
And
which is great.
that's difficult. It's hard to get girls to be anything. Get camera on my face and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's really come out
Really,
of herself. Yeah, come out of her shell. And the great news is she just shared with us she's got a volunteering opportunity in a local charity shop.
Nice.
So, yeah, and she's done that herself. She actually emailed the shop herself. So this is what we're all about, empowering young people.
Well, that's a good word, empowering young people. I mean, like it's good that a project like yours is this where people can kind of like have that time where, as you use in your own words, nurturing, continuing care.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like there are a lot of projects that you were saying that you get to a certain age and it's like, okay, see you later, go. It's like throwing pigeons out of a tree and stuff, you know, but you still look after them, don't you?
Yeah, we must be doing something right because a lot of our young people sort of either come back to us either to help to volunteer or to sort of like signpost their friends to us. So, yeah, we're obviously doing something okay, aren't we, Harry?
Yeah. Well, it's like, if you need a slogan, it's like we make them resilient.
Yeah. That's exactly why we chose the name Chase because, obviously we've been through a terrible time as a country, haven't we, with COVID and the pandemic and, with mental health on the increase and waiting times to be seen by GPs. It was all about building resilient skills and that's what we do, whether that's emotionally, financially, that's what we're doing. We are resilient.
Well, now another thing that we have in common is that, we participate in the HALF Foundation, which, works with young people and healthy eating programs and stuff like that, or delivery and everything. But you have done something that I've been talking about for a long time on here when I talk to different HALF programs is about collaborating.
Yes.
It's like, we had to find somebody with different skills, whatever, and hey, let's support one another. You actually gone out and done it with a project called Break the Mold. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we work closely with a lot of organisations in Liskeard where we're based, and Chris is a director at Break the Mold CIC, and Chris works in quite a few schools as a sports coach, but his business is social supermarkets supporting disadvantaged people. And he invited us to come in on the Holiday Activity Fund to do similar to what we'd done at the Weekender, so the digital skills, the arts and the crafts, and obviously we're feeding the kids as well. And we were in a primary school in Egremont, which is just down the road from Liskeard. So I think, couldn't quite believe the numbers, but I think altogether we have about 1,000 spaces available over a 4-week programme.
1,000?
And do you remember how hot it was in the summer in August? So the pair of us were just like, it was a really, really busy 4 weeks. But
It's been hard to control 1,000 young people, as well as feeding them and stuff.
Yeah, obviously there wasn't 1,000 on every day. That was spread over the 4 weeks.
Yeah, look at that. Look at her jumping up her numbers and everything. But but no, that just sounds fantastic. One of the things you were saying is that one of the dreams or aspirations that you had for resilience is to create a digital hub.
Yeah, we've.
I wanted to hear more about that.
Yeah, we're sort of we're leaning more and more towards that to have something a little bit different, aren't we, Harry? That nobody else is quite doing on Wirral. So yeah, we'd love to create that kind of a space maybe in Liskeard, maybe in the surrounding area. So we're thinking, a drop-in to come and like brush up on your skills, maybe get a green screen, which is, I'm so glad that we're here in your new premises to have a look around and see what you guys are up to So collaboration. You did ask me, come back.
I know. I do remember I did say, hey, we're gonna work together. Yeah, you got that funding. Nah.
So now we're gonna pick your brains, aren't we, Harry?
Well,
Yeah.
we would hope that it wouldn't just be sort of with the music. That would be the entertainment digital sort of experience,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? But as the people we deal with are getting older, they'll start playing utility bills. Part of life is the apps, the websites, the form filling they've got to go in for,
Yeah.
all the bills and that type of. So there would be aspects of that in it as well. Digital. It's a digital world we live in, and people need help with the digital skills they need just to pay bills.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I mean, it's a common thing, like I often say to people is that, when you look at the end credits of a film, those are like 500 jobs. Especially when you're working with like young people like yourselves, like 16 to 25, it's like they have to start thinking about what am I going to do? You know what I mean? So like when you're dealing with digital skills, it's like you gotta actually also think about what other avenues are out there for them, as far as the creative media is
Definitely.
concerned.
And we're working with
That's what we focus on.
a virtual reality company at the
Oh
moment.
yeah, that's right. You did say that.
And we're working quite closely with them.
You didn't get their name. Which one is
So
it?
that's Visbox Limited.
Visbox.
So the director there, Carl, he's been amazing. He's doing such great work in the community. And what we want to do is try and develop a program called In Your VR Shoes. So maybe
In your VR shoes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if you're wanting to maybe think about hairdressing as a career and you may have autism or ADHD, it's making sure that environment is going to fit in with your neurodiversity. So we're working with them about filming in the workplace and then playing that back through the headset to see if a young person could cope with that environment, could work in that, that under that pressure.
Yeah, because you gave that an example, didn't you, like of a young person who put the headsets on and had an interesting experience.
Yeah, so I know Carl sort of filmed in like hairdressing salons. He's actually working with a young person at the moment who's recovering from a stroke. So the world of VR particularly is like a huge area where the industry, is crying out for talent. So we'd love to encourage young people to sort of go down that route if they haven't come up with a career for now. And also in terms of the possibilities, as you say, I remember last time I was here, you were saying about like on the mixing desk over here, it's like, it's an art to do that, isn't it?
Well, I was saying, like, our man Phil is over here on our mixing desk, and even though he's one person, it's actually in television, it's the job of 5 people to operate what he's doing. And they get like about 125 a year.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, say what?
Yeah.
Just to press a button? Yeah, well, you got to press the button on time. Phil never presses it on time. But, like, you got to press it on time and everything like that. I keep looking out the corner of my eye, and I'm always like, he's not on me. I don't know why.
And that's why that's why we
I am a diva.
peel me a grape while you're there. Yeah.
Tell me a great. Woo, glad you said it. But also too is that like back to the nurturing, continuing care. It's just like you just told, because we do show notes before we go on the air and stuff. Just told an interesting story about someone where it took them from shopping to cooking, and just tell me about that, because it's like not every organization gets down in there on a one-to-one and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the Resilient Project, which I funded myself in the very beginning, we work particularly with a very small group of young people who may have additional needs or poor mental health. And we just want to bring them back into the game so they feel like they're part of something.
Yeah.
So we work closely with them. We make sure that there's things in place at home. We're around there, like, emotional support. But the practical things, and Harry said, we live in an age now, the cost of living is on the rise. It's it's a real scary world out there.
Yeah.
So we're all about providing the practical skills. So part of the Resilient program, what we do is we look at budgeting. We look at how to save money. We look at how to cut costs. And we also plan going to a supermarket, and we go to, like, have you ever done it? When you go to the bargain bucket and see what's on the offer for the day.
Yes.
And the first time we did it, we got some amazing bargains, all in date. Obviously, we didn't poison the kids with food poison or anything, but we'd actually then go back to the centre and we cook the food and we eat together. And a lot of young people don't have that connection. They don't sit around a family table at night.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, I'm of a certain age where you used to sort of talk about what your day had been like and, you know, who you'd seen. And that interaction, that social interaction has sort of been lost a bit. So we're trying to bring back those old-fashioned values, I guess. So
No, exactly. Old fashioned is new again and stuff, you know. But also too is that you shared a personal story because obviously, you know, when people get involved in autism or in autism projects, something personal brings them to the project and stuff like that. And you were talking about how, like, which I thought was really interesting because you were talking about how your daughter didn't actually receive a diagnosis until she was 22, but you were kind of like curious or suspicious, whatever, for much longer than that. And you were talking about how girls mask their autism. And I just wanted you to speak a little bit about that.
yeah, definitely. I mean, Harry's been instrumental in supporting particularly young men that may not have a father figure in their life, and he's brought them on. I mean, you're working with a young man at the moment who's gone on to different projects.
Yeah, it was sort of introduced him to a sport, and it was mentoring without mentoring really. It's just to get him to that location to try a new sport. And I'm still involved with him, so I don't really, I don't want to bring him into it too much. But it's just getting a person of that age to just step out of their safety zone, and just to try something. And that particular young lad has come on leaps and bounds in his confidence.
Unfortunately, he has had a diagnosis of autism, whereas young girls, particularly teenage girls, are undiagnosed because they mask it a lot. And there is some evidence out there now suggesting that that's what's happened over the last few years. So with my daughter...
Can you give us an example of what that looks like? Because as I was saying is, as an American, I grew up on American telly. And, you always see the naughty kids or who were called the naughty kids, telling their parents off and going in the room, slamming doors, and I'm like, leave me alone, ma, and everything. So how does that look when a girl masks her autism?
I think with our daughter in particular, she didn't do any of that, but it was more about the worry, the anxiety.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
worry and anxiety, again, I think there has been some evidence that the two they tend to sort of try and separate them, but the two go hand in hand, most definitely, with our lived experience as a parent. So I think the more we can give young people, particularly those that aren't diagnosed, that support and that care and that nurture, the more they are going to invest in themselves and believe that they can, they can do stuff.
Because you also pointed out like that our doctors, our GPs, like they weren't really given the right signs to look for.
Yeah, our own GP admitted there hadn't been enough training around spotting the signs in, young girls of a certain age. So I'm hoping that now the door will open where more young people have got access to get diagnosed.
Yeah.
And to realise, why do I wake up every morning feeling like I do?
Yeah.
And having a name doesn't change it. And obviously, you'll know that. It doesn't change how you feel. But
it does in a way, because like I said, like with my son having Asperger's and being diagnosed with dyspraxia and stuff, it helped him because, his younger preteen years were really kind of difficult. But like when he started to get a name attached to it, it started to take the responsibility off a little bit, because it's kind of like, so his behavior had a name to it, and he could understand that, it's hard to control.
yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of parents need to understand, and which is why I was saying around that kid slamming doors and everything like that. There could be a reason why, besides the fact that you think that your kid is naughty.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's all I was really saying.
Yeah, and it's all around educating the parents as well,
isn't
it?
Well, defo.
And we work with young people, children and young people, but obviously not forgetting the parents and carers form a huge part of that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're supporting them sort of directly, indirectly, where they need it as well. So that's, I think, where what is our USP is that we, without sounding too cheesy, we genuinely care. about our outcomes and helping everyone get on in life.
So, another thing that you're involved in is what you call flexi schooling. Can you talk a little bit about that? I believe you had a project called Interchange.
So yeah, we're working with the University of Liverpool on their charitable arm, the Interchange project. So we've been assigned a student who's chosen to work with us, which we're so thrilled about. So they'll be coming in to do a bit of research around maybe young people that are being schooled at home. There's all sorts of different terms for it, but flexi schooling. Hate the word school refusers, but there is a massive problem in our community, and obviously young people are going through life without those education and those life skills that are so valuable for them. So we're doing a bit of research around that. So we're really interested to see what that throws up and what the outcomes are of that report that the student's going to do. So we're really looking forward to starting with us soon.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it all just sounds fantastic, Louise. I mean, like you say, it's been about a year, since we talked. But I mean, your project has come along leaps and bounds, But obviously, as always, you can always use more funding, can you?
Harry, do we need more funding?
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, to get some
Harry,
funding?
just speak up, will you?
It would be nice to get some more funding and continue what we've been doing.
And you've actually started doing a couple of funding bids over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've been gathering the evidence over the last 12 months of what we've done. So it'll be a bid with pictures, it'll be a bid with feedback, and we'll try and make it as interesting as we can to try and get more funding and carry on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we do on this show, we always talk to people with organizations. I don't want to call them like single proprietorships or anything like that, but organizations that are about more. The ethos is more about supporting their communities.
Yeah.
And everything, and worthwhile projects.
Yep.
And everything, which this definitely is. I mean, even though Louise has left her kitchen, and they got an office now.
We've got a spanking new office.
Where is it at?
So we're based in Liskeard Business Centre. And
how can people find you?
So we are on the main high street on Liskeard Road.
No, I meant online. But
sorry,
okay.
yeah, of course, doing a plug there.
Digital skills.
Yeah, crikey. So yeah, we've got a website, obviously www.resilientnw.org, and we've also got our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So give us a like, and I promise I will share this podcast wider than I did last time.
And that's only because I spelled the name right. But I love that. Where can people find you? We're on the high street. I'm like, come on. It reminds me of my ex-girlfriend who was like, yeah. Well, how much juice you got? Lemonade, high C. Yeah. Phil ruined my joke, but that's all right. But it's okay. Yeah, I know. Whatever, Phil. I just want to thank my guests, Louise Harlan Davies and Harry Williams of Resilient CIC.
Resilient Northwest CIC.
Stop it, Phil. Resilient Northwest CIC.
Yay.
You know what? Is there a Southwest?
That'd be too confusing.
Well, no, I'm just saying, you're making it a point. If I typed in Resilient, I'm pretty sure I'd find you. But either way you look at it is that anything you just want to promote coming up now?
Yeah, again, we'd love to work with local organisations. So if anyone wants to find out what our projects are at the moment, feel free to get in touch. We're all about the collaboration. Strength in numbers, definitely.
Strength in numbers.
Yeah, and, if anyone's interested around like the digital project that we're working on at the moment, we can put you in touch with other organisations in the area that can help you. It's just one big collective. It's brilliant.
Yep, it definitely is. And thank you once again for you guys coming in and joining us. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, here at Liverpool Community Podcast in the Big Condo Studios. Nice warm place right now. Oh, damn it, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Phil, you people know I'm sitting right here. We out of here.